The United States traditionally draws clear distinctions between peace and war, but that is no longer the case today. While the United States is, thankfully, not in a shooting war with Russia or China, we're not exactly at peace either. Our adversaries are engaged in cyber-enabled information warfare, and as it stands, the Department of Defense is poorly equipped to deal with this kind of conflict. Cyber-enabled information warfare is a competitive and hostile activity against the United States. But under the laws of war and the UN Charter, it's not warfare. It is probably better characterized as adversarial psychological manipulation. For example, about 20% of Facebook postings in 2020 and early 2021 relating to QAnon originated outside the United States, with Russia and China playing leading roles in this activity. During 2020, posts originating in Russia accounted for 44%, while in early 2021, posts originating in China accounted for 58% of such posts. Our information warfare adversaries have weaponized our constitutional protections, our technologies, and even our minds against us. Cyber-enabled information warfare has the potential to replace reason and reality as the basis for societal discourse with rage and fantasy instead. These information warfare activities even threaten members of the armed forces who may be influenced by this kind of manipulation. For example, based on such manipulation, some may be more likely to violate their oaths to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The Department of Defense cannot defend the whole United States against information warfare by itself. The threat requires not just a government-wide response, but a society-wide response, and DoD, as broad as its responsibilities are, cannot orchestrate either one. Nevertheless, DoD is well positioned to address the cyber-enabled information warfare threat for at least one important segment of the U.S. populace, the U.S. Armed Forces and their families. Currently, DoD doctrine does not explicitly acknowledge the possibility that the U.S. military could be the target of adversarial psychological operations to influence their emotions, their motives, their objective reasoning, and their behavior. This has to change. To protect service members and their families, DoD should first acknowledge in its doctrine the vulnerabilities of its personnel to information warfare operations, and the importance of protecting those personnel against such operations. Second, DoD should augment its basic training and professional military education requirements to include instruction on what their oaths mean. What does it mean to support and defend the Constitution? How does one identify a foreign or domestic enemy? These educational activities should be conducted with at least the same intensity as the instruction that uniformed DoD personnel receive today regarding compliance with the laws of armed conflict. Third, the DoD should support civics education for members of the armed forces and their families. DoD is not in a position to lead a society-wide defense against the information warfare threat. But it can and should take point in defending service members and their families, recognizing that such efforts may well provide a model for other parts of society to follow in its footsteps.